said, can Hughes get the contract renewed ASAP? Can't keep dragging this out. So, yes, that's a good point as any, or place as any to start tonight. Right now, the ball is very firmly in Liverpool's court with these contract extensions for Mohamed, for Virgil and for Trent. And I would have to say, Mohamed Salah has started this season incredibly well. He cannot do any more than he's doing. He looks phenomenal. He's playing phenomenal. He owns Old Trafford. It will be very difficult for Liverpool to try to justify not offering him a decent extension. And Virgil and Trent as well. Look, I would imagine this gets moving along quite quickly because we're all a little bit anxious right now, aren't we? You know, we've seen how good we've started the season. So my thoughts on it are this. There are many different thought processes as to why this contract extension situation has been allowed to get to where it is. Some of it may be Liverpool taking their eye off the ball. Some of it may be the departure of Jurgen Klopp. Other parts, maybe the players wanted to see what the club's ambitions were moving forward. And of course, maybe, just maybe, they wanted to see what life was going to be like under Arne Slot. And I think, for certainly the last part of that, I hope these players get the understanding quite quickly that Liverpool have brought in a very good manager. And there's still a long way to go. And of course, it's still early days. But Arne Slot is no mug. He is here to do the best job he can do. And we've seen his tactical acumen on display over the first 3 games. So I think we can start ticking off these boxes. Are this club still going to be competitive? Yes, tick that box. Can the club financially afford to give the contract extensions to Salah, Virgil and Trent? Yes, we know that they can. Will the players feel comfortable under the new manager? I absolutely have no reason to believe they won't. I mean, you've seen how well we've started this season. 3 games in, 3 clean sheets, 3 wins, 7 goals scored. Can't argue with it. So there is no reason for the club not to offer contract extensions at this point, other than maybe taking a longer term view. And if these boys keep performing as they are, it will look idiotic not to give. And I don't mean like a contract offer for the sake of a contract offer. I mean a genuine bona fide, we think this gets it done contract offer to each one of them. What do you think FSG will use new contracts for Virgin Trent as a softener for a crap window? Look, my thoughts on the owners are what they are, and they're not going to change. I find them cheap. I can only say the same things over and over again. But they're in a position now where they haven't gone big in the window. We brought in Chiesa. We've made money in the transfer window. So there's no excuse with regards to not having the ability to give these guys contract extensions, and if they feel so, a contract rise. Particularly with Trent. You'd imagine he's going to have to get a fairly substantial pay rise. There's no excuse not to do it now. The players are shown that they're still at the levels. Of course, you always, and David made a fair point about this when we spoke earlier, you never want to overcommit and give somebody 3-4 year deal, because we've seen in football that somebody can be brilliant one season and then just the legs go the next. Now, I don't get that indication that Mohamed Salah or Virgil are going to go down that route. And if you look at what I've always said, I've just been against any of these guys leaving the club for free because I think it's the height of stupidity. So the club should give an offer to these guys, and a fair one at that. I mean, I don't know what the number is to make Mohamed Salah happy. With Virgil, again, I would say something similar to he's on now, maybe with some more incentives for clean sheets and stuff like that. I don't know how these players' contracts are worded, but I do know that every single one of us watching the first 3 games of the season feels like Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk are absolutely at the levels required. So that's all they can do. I don't speak about Trent, of course, because he's still 25. We know that Trent's legs aren't going to go. So that's a fairly straightforward conversation about ambition, I would imagine, for the football club. Did we clear out all the players to afford the 3 new contracts? Oh, Jay, you know what? I wouldn't say we even needed to do that, bro, because when we moved on Thiago, Joel Matip and Adrien San Miguel, we know that there was a lot of money freed up there. I think it was about 18.5 million quid. No other contracts of big players recently have been extended, so the wage bill hasn't really gone up. So you would say the wiggle room is certainly there for the club financially to give the offers to Mohamed, to Virgil and Trent. Whitehammer said, Craig, you're handling contracts, what do you do? I give Trent 300 grand a week on a 4 or 5 year deal. I offer Mohamed Salah the same contract with better incentives for goals and assists for 2 years with an option of a third. And I'd probably do something similar with Virgil van Dijk. Maybe something like along the lines of what he's on now, with some extra incentives or bonuses for trophies, clean sheets. Again, 2 years with an option of a third. That's where I'm at. The players would probably want the guarantee of the third year in Virgil and Mohamed's case. And I guess that's a difficult conversation for both the club and the players to have. But that's kind of where I'd be at.